Once upon a time, we measured the distance in darkness. What is spoken will eventually come to light. Water captures your reflection. I capture human interactions. Create human-like conversational dialogue to help you write a blog, to cut down hours of prep that you log. I'm an engineer in marble. Who better to break down the Constitution? Who better to show and explain the revolution? Who better to uncover the truth? Montana, Uncle Rico, Gerry, Rod. We are a reflection of our country's scars. The Doneson podcast. Show them who we are.
You know I love you so. We're back, we're here. Let the music take control. The season's here. In case you didn't know, we're glad you're here. I hope you like the show. For many years. Let's start the show.
So, every time I leave this liquor store, I usually see somebody, but certain times I hear somebody calling my name. You ever heard, like, you out somewhere and somebody calls your name?
Yeah.
So I kept hearing this thing called, Rod, Rod. And I'm like, looking around, I'm like, nobody's looking at me, right?
Yeah.
And I go to my car like, Rod, Rod.
Was it a parrot?
No, it was a crow.
You know what?
I was like, damn, they sound like they're saying Rod.
Oh, God.
So I went back in the store and put the liquor back
Yeah.
and drove home.
I'm glad you did. Good choice.
Now, Uncle Rico has been nominated for an Academy Award this year. In a movie that I think you're going to enjoy. It's still at the theaters. And let's see what your skit looks like. Okay?
One of the best actors of all time, Uncle Rico, starring in Equals Return.
I've put in so much work in my life. I know I created man. I am the creator of man as well. I can do this. Please come to life. I put too much time into you. Come. God, I put all my life work, my savings, everything I had into you. Hey! Oh! He's alive! He's alive! Come to me! Oh, my protege! Come to life! Oh! I did it! I can create men!
Now it's time for What's Cooking in Your City?
Oh, bonjour. Collard green Creole dirty rice. Let's begin with the main ingredients. 1 tablespoon of canola oil, as always. 1 medium-sized yellow onion, chopped, about 2 cups. 1 celery stalk, chopped, about half a cup. 1 poblano chile, seeded and chopped. Before we go any further, this dish is going to clean you all the way out. We're talking every damn organ. 3 garlic cloves, minced, about 2 teaspoons. 4 ounces of chicken sausage, casings removed, finely chopped. 1 cup of uncooked long grain white rice. I'm telling you, this dish is a Louisiana prison favorite. 2 cups chicken stock, smelling good already, baby. 8 ounces collard greens, stems trimmed, large ribs removed, and finely chopped. I would get the collards from across the railroad tracks, if you know what I mean. Then add a little dash of black pepper. Directions: 1. Heat oil in a large skillet over medium. Add onion, celery, and poblano. And cook, stirring often, until onion is translucent. About 5 minutes. 2. Serve warm with hot sauce. Ooh, baby, if you don't have any black friends after this dish, you will. See you next week, where we'll be talking about another amazing dish. Voila!
Thank you, Chef Voila.
What he specializing in? Bowel movement dishes?
He has
I know that's right.
he has a sponsorship with X-Lax.
Yeah, okay,
Got it.
yeah.
Got to.
Now there comes a time when you just don't want to live around certain people, and certain people just don't want to live around you.
Right.
So there's ways of doing this. We will discuss later on in the show. But before we do, it's time for rapid fire! All right. Taking voters by dividing them up into multiple districts so that they are in the minority in each district.
Crack.
Excellent, Montana. What is it called when taking voters into a single district so that they are in the minority in the majority of the district?
Pack.
Excellent, Montana. Benefits of gerrymandering.
Keeping Negroes on the other side of the rail track.
Good job, Uncle Rico. Do banks have a role in gerrymandering?
Oh, yeah, because they loan the money.
Excellent. Now, gerrymandering is the practice of manipulating the boundaries of an electoral constituency so as to favor one party or class. Now, this can also be defined by other factors such as shared interest or demographics. For example, there may be a lot of voters who are concerned about the environment or voters who are from a particular ethnic group, right? So you have to ask yourself, what is an electoral constituency? An electoral contingency,
Constituency. Tootsie Roll.
What's in your cup?
Right. Thought it was an abbreviation for something.
Let me see you constituency roll.
Roll.
Buzz flat. Tootsie Roll. Out of control.
Oh, boy.
All right, constituency. All right. Now, the also known as electronic district, legislative district, voting district, ward division, or election precinct is a subdivision of a larger state created to provide its population with help me out, Montana.
Reciprocity, or what do you?
No, representation.
Representation.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God. In the large state's legislative body.
Legislative.
That too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The state legislators are responsible for drawing the boundaries of congressional districts. The term gerrymandering is derived from the name of Elbridge Gerry, the governor of Massachusetts, who in 1812 signed a bill that created a district that was so oddly shaped that it was said to be resembling of a crow. It is a common practice in the United States and it is used by both major political parties. Gerrymandering can be used to give one party an unfair advantage in elections. And it can also be used to dilute the voter power of minority groups.
Cause I'm no kin to this dirty dog.
Right, there are a number of ways to gerrymander an election district. One common method is to crack, taking voters by dividing them up into multiple districts so that they are in the minority in each district. Another common method is to pack, taking voters into a single district so that they are in the majority in that district, but they are outnumbered in the overall electoral.
Crack and pack all used in the same paragraph? This sounds like the late 80s in the inner city all over again.
Okay. Now, one big question I did have is, do banks influence gerrymandering?
Yeah.
Now, banks can influence gerrymandering. Banks can donate money to political campaigns, and they can also lobby elected officials. This gives banks a powerful voice in the redistricting process. Banks have a vested interest in the outcome of redistricting. They want to make sure that the districts are drawn into a way that benefits their business interests. For example, banks may want to make sure that the districts are drawn in a way that includes a large number of wealthy people. This is because wealthy people are more likely to invest in banks and other financial institutions. Montana, Do you agree with this process?
Not at all. Why would I? I mean, for a bank to be involved in that way, and it's not like a positive influence. It's not, yeah.
Okay. Now, banks can also use their influence to make sure that the districts are drawn in a way that benefits their political interests.
Of course.
For example, banks may want to make sure that the districts are drawn in a way that includes a large number of voters who are likely to support policies that are favorable to the banks. Now, gerrymandering can have a number of negative consequences. It can make it difficult for minority groups to elect representatives. It also make it difficult for voters to hold the elected officials accountable. Banks can use their influence to make gerrymandering even worse by donating money to political campaigns and lobbying elected officials.
Of course.
Now, real estate companies, do they have a hand in gerrymandering? Let's see here. Real estate companies can use gerrymandering to take advantage in a number of ways. For example, they can use gerrymandering to target specific neighborhoods for development. By drawing district lines in a way that includes certain neighborhoods, real estate companies can make it more likely that those neighborhoods will be redeveloped.
Yep.
Would you ever move to an area that is going to be redeveloped to cash in on it? Or would you stay where you are?
I'm gonna stay where I'm at, but I mean, it depends on what you're trying to achieve in life, man. I mean, everybody want to make money. That's what make the world go around, as we said, making money, having money. But to do it at somebody else's demise, no.
Okay. Now, keep in mind that this can be beneficial for real estate companies because it can lead to increased property values and increased profits.
Yeah.
Now, it is important to note that gerrymandering is not always used by real estate companies to,
It's used by politicians.
Yeah, in some cases, real estate companies may use gerrymandering to try to improve the lives of people who live in neighborhoods that are developing. You know, me and my cousin Jerry, he was named after gerrymandering.
Okay.
Now, check this out. We're almost there. Does voting influence gerrymandering, y'all?
Yep.
You got it. Voting can influence gerrymandering. It is a practice of drawing electoral district boundaries in a way that gives one political party or group an advantage over another. When voters turn out in large numbers, it can make it more difficult for gerrymanderings to succeed. This is because large voter turnout can lead to more competitive elections, which makes it more difficult for one party to control the redistricting process. Now, there are a number of ways that voters can influence gerrymandering. One way is to vote in every election. Please get out and vote, y'all.
Yeah.
Including local elections. Local elections are often the ones that determine how districts lines are drawn.
Right.
So it's important to vote in these elections to make your voice heard. So the question then becomes why many black people don't vote.
Cuzzo, now wait a second. There's a number of reasons why black people may not vote in local elections. Some of the reasons include disenfranchisement. Some black people are disenfranchised from voting due to felony convictions or other legal restrictions. Lack of access to transportation, lack of information. Some black people may not be aware of the importance of voting in local elections, or they may not know how to register to vote, feeling like their vote doesn't matter. Some black people may be discouraged from voting due to voter suppression tactics, such as voter ID laws and long lines at the polls.
Good point, Jerry.
Yep.
So how do we get into a position of power to control gerrymandering?
By voting.
All right, now let's take the Tennessee General Assembly. The General Assembly is responsible for making laws that affect everything from education to healthcare to transportation. All right. Now, the General Assembly also has the power to approve and disapprove of the governor's appointments and to approve and appropriate money. To become a part of the General Assembly in Tennessee, you must be elected to one of the 99 seats in the House of Representatives or one of 33 seats in the Senate. To be eligible to run for office, you must be a citizen of the United States, a resident of Tennessee, or at least 3 years, or a district you are running for at least 1 year before the election. You must also be 21 years of age to run for the House and at least 30 to run for the Senate. So the question is this. We need to prevent this. But before we do, would you want to be able to shape a neighborhood to live in, or do you want the people to shape the neighborhood that you would live in?
I want the people to shape the neighborhood they live in. Yeah. So they got to vote.
Okay.
They got to get out and vote, man. It ain't about an individual. It's about the majority, man. So, yeah, I want the people to have control of where they live and what's going on in their neighborhood.
Okay. Same question, Montana. Would you want, you can have kids and so forth. Would you want you to be in control of redistricting a neighborhood, or you want to be at everybody else's mercy?
I would say I want to be in control. I want to have some balance because I think sometimes I believe in, the democracy to some extent, because I think if you give people 100% control, it's kind of hard to satisfy everybody, because everybody wants what they want.
Right.
So I'm all about us having some control with figuring out what that democracy looks like within the community. So even if it was like 75-25, like there's certain rules and regulations already in place that we have to meet in order to, fulfill what we want. I think that'll help like regulate it, because it's hard in America anyway to just give people 100% control and expect for them to do the right thing.
Well, if it keeps the fast food restaurants on that side of town and we get to keep some good restaurants, then I'm with it.
All right, this is an interesting topic with gerrymandering, right? In order to move into a good neighborhood, Gerry has to take place, right? Will we all agree on that?
Say that again?
Gerrymandering has to take place.
No, it
To
doesn't.
do what?
Move into a good neighborhood?
Not at
No,
all.
why you say that?
Not at all. There are people of all races, ages, colors, whatever, that you can move into a good neighborhood with. I know people, I live in a good neighborhood. People do it. That's not necessary.
You may not be liked because you're there, but you can move there.
It depends.
Yeah.
All right, let me ask y'all this question. Would y'all rather have a family unliked but move into a great neighborhood that has great benefits to either resale of your house or education, or be in a community that's the opposite?
I'm not going to go that extreme to say the opposite, because as a person, if I had a family, I'm not going to move them into any environment where they are not liked, because that's not going to be a healthy environment. If somebody doesn't like you, they're going to do everything they can to get you out of that environment. So that's not going to be healthy. But I think you can find a balance. People tend to think that you can't have people that say, look like you, and you all live in a place that's civilized with all those great other benefits that we think we only can get in one area. Like, that's just not accurate information. It's about just taking the time to do your research, figure out what that looks like, where it is, and understand that you may get 9 out of the 10 things that you want, but you was gonna get 9 out of 10 if you was in that other neighborhood anyway. So you may not, it's nowhere in the world are you really gonna get 10 out of 10 when you go anywhere, unless you move to a remote area with your own land and build what you want, but then you seclude, you far out, so again, you're not gonna get 10 out of 10, but if I'm gonna get 8 out of 10 over here and I'm happy, versus I'm gonna get 8 out of 10 over here and these people don't like me, why would I go over there? That's crazy. And and it's unhinged behavior, because that's what people do. They'll go somewhere they not wanted or liked just to say, I stay in this neighborhood, but you hate every minute of it. It's miserable. Why would you sign up for that?
Would you agree with that?
I agree, 100%.
Okay. That is interesting to me. Okay. Well, thank you for tuning in to the Doneson podcast.
Peace out.
Enjoy a little more sunshine, oh baby. Anticipation is that time of the year. The Doneson podcast is here.